Does everyone have a piece of paper? Okay, you're gonna write a lot of notes. So I teach 2 complimentary workshops every month. And the reason I do is, number one, it saves time for me not to go to lunch and talk about the same thing over and over and over again when people are like, how do I do real estate? Okay. Number 2, makes me less fat than I am. So I don't have to eat every day. That's a joke, guys. I eat out a lot. Number 3 is this is going to be a tough crowd. Should we stop filming? Okay. So why I'm sharing this is number 3 is this helps consolidate tons of content in an hour. Okay. You guys need to go over a lot of stuff, information. So by raise of hands, who's watched the first workshop of how to fix or fill it versus buy and hold? 3 people. Cool. You'll want to learn that. We teach these every single month. You can come as often as you want, or they can work with these guys and we can give you access online. So here's a cool house real quick. Write down 3 things that you see when you remodeled here. And make it look less obvious stuff. Like you're like, oh wow, that's interesting. They did X, Y, Z. Write down 3 things, please. And then circle your favorite one. Okay, Cody, what's your number 1?
It looks like you added can lights.
Okay.
Or changed the lighting.
Change the lighting. Garrett, what's your number 1?
Let's just say paint, since he did lights.
Okay. Eric, what's your number 1?
How you guys opened up that wall on the right.
Okay, good. Roger, what's your number 1?
Windows.
Good. Elizabeth, what's your number 1?
This is one where we can't repeat if my favorite was
No,
the same.
that's okay. Good,
Okay.
Good call. You can repeat.
I like how you cut out the wall.
Okay, open up the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Richard,
The
number 1?
lighting.
The lighting. Okay. Go ahead. What's your name, ma'am?
Tiffany,
Tiffany, go ahead. Your number 1.
opening up the wall.
Opening up the wall. Okay. Derek.
Flooring.
Dominic.
The color of paint.
Color of the paint. So here's a couple things you guys.
Did you guys change the shape of the doorway?
Yes.
That is interesting.
Yep. Good call. See here? So I'm going to share what you guys missed. So I'm going to repeat. We got flooring, opened up the wall, changed the door, put in new lights, changed the windows, paint. Is that what everyone said? Okay, we have new base case. No one said that. Did anyone say base and case?
No.
Okay, we staged the home. You'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, it's staged. Okay? Yes, we put in new can lights. Correct. All right, so there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things we did in one room. Do you think you're gonna? It's taken me 12 years to learn how to do this. Probably 7, but I get better at it each time. Does that make sense? Tomorrow we're gonna go look at a house that we just started demoing. You guys got that email yet? 8:45 tomorrow. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, there's tons of different components. So number 1, you could say, hey, I just want to focus on remodeling. Is that a good focus? Possibly. If you don't have a deal or a house, does it really matter how to remodel? Probably not. Make sense? You got to know how to buy the asset. Probably before that, even how to find the asset. Probably before that, what type of asset do I want to get? There's a lot of different things with real estate investing. So here's my CYA, cover your assets. I'm not an attorney or a CPA or a realtor. I'm a mortgage broker. This is not a mortgage lending class. I just happen to have a license. This is real estate investing. You need to invest at your own risk. You can lose a lot. You can earn a lot. And this is really funny. I was just talking to my financial planner right before we came down here. He was here in my office going over some insurance stuff. Just talking about how he's like, oh, I need to get a rental. Is that good? Write that one down. Cool. All right, cool. So this class is how to turn 15,000 into 200,000. I'd prefer if you guys don't ask any questions until the end so I can stay on time. So I get really distracted. Please write down your questions. Because I guarantee 80 to 90% of the time, 5 minutes later, I'm going to answer your question. Okay? So it's how to turn 15,000 into 200. I'm Matt Atkinson. Number 1, maximizing your ROI. What's the definition of ROI?
Return on investment.
Return on investment. Good. You'd be surprised how many people we talk to that don't even know what that is. Okay? It's not bad. It's just they don't know. We're going to talk about an active versus passive investor. I'm considered an active investor. I eat, sleep, drink it, read about it, write offers. We have 4 houses right now to wholesale. Okay? So that means I'm going to buy them or we can have someone else buy them. Either way, I control them. Why I'm bringing that up, most people can only buy 1 house at a time, maybe once every 4 to 6 months. Not everyone needs to be an active investor, but I'm going to share some different examples with you. So I'd write this down. There's a lot of meat right here, okay? This is giving an example of a house for $100,000. Why am I still using a $100,000 house? Because someone actually emailed me one today for $95,000. Okay, you can still buy houses that inexpensive in Utah, even in Salt Lake County. They're small, but they're available. Of an example. So if you've watched the first class, or if you've not, these guys will follow up with you tomorrow. But you're going to buy a property, for this example, for $100,000. You're going to get a hard money loan. It's called a professional Guido loan. It's a percentage of the purchase price. The bigger the purchase price, the bigger the fee. The smaller the purchase price, the smaller the fee. Actually have 2. Roger, you have a self-directed IRA, huh? If I remember correctly? Don't you have a retirement account? No. You don't? Okay, I misremembered. I swear you did. Okay, so for example, someone wants to borrow $20,000 for 6 months. Is that a lot of money? Depends on who you are, right? Is that a lot of money to me? Nah, I don't get super excited for me to lend out $20,000. But they are so tight on capital, I could make $2,000 on $20,000, which is 10 points, and charge them 15% interest, draft the documents, and solve their problem. Would I be interested for that? More interested. It's the same amount of work for me to lend $150,000 or $20,000. I got to vet the property still. Does that make sense? Same work for me to analyze the same type of loan. Why I'm bringing this up? It varies. In this example, they're going to refinance. So you're going to refinance off hard money. It's a $4,000 investment that you roll in the loan. Your conventional loans for $110,000. Your PITI is based on principal and interest. Taxes and insurance is $732.42. Your monthly rent is $11.50. That's easy to get in Salt Lake County. You can definitely get that in Utah County. Rents have gone up. Have you guys noticed in the last 2 to 3 years? They've gone up a lot. They've gone up a lot more than 10 years ago when the market went up. Rents are up a lot more now than they were 10 years ago. Okay? The real estate market is very comparable now than when it was 10 years ago. So rents are exceeding though what rents were 10 years ago. Does that make sense? Because the values went down 30 to 40% in a 5-year period. Rents did not go down 30 to 40% in Utah. Maybe 5 to 10%, maybe 15 at the max. So it gives you some things to think about. Utilities, water, $75 a month. Monthly rent, $342.58. Now, anyone have questions with this? I will let you guys ask because this is like, yes.
So are you taking out are you doing a 20% hard money loan just to take out a $200 or $100,000 loan?
No, this is 100% $100,000 loan. Good question. Any other questions to this? Yes.
Do you typically pay water when you're?
Good question. Depending on the property, if the city will allow me to have the tenants pay the water, I do. If the city requires the owner to pay the water, I do. If I have sprinklers, I normally pay the water. Why do you guys think so?
So against the law to have your parents pay for them?
No, not against the law. Good comment. Go.
So your grass doesn't die.
Yeah. How much does it cost to put new grass down? $2 to $4 grand. Could I pay the water then invoice it to the tenant? Right? Wait. Hold on. Listen to what I just said. Can I pay it and invoice it to them? Yes. Do I want them responsible? What if they choose not to pay it because they're a little light that month? Do I want that?
No.
Because how much does it cost for me to put new sod down? $2 to $4 grand. Who cares about your money more than you? No one. No one does. Okay? You had a question?
No.
So is that the same? I mean, that's whether that's a multi-unit or a single family. Same.
No. It's different depending on the property and the city and the tenant and the lease option. So what's my answer? It depends. Is that so stereotypical for CPAs?
Nope.
No?
Well, I say it depends all the time.
Yes, good. And he's a CPA. All right. So here's the yearly cash flow, $4,111. Is that a good cash flow?
Yes.
Yeah. Heck yeah, it is. Okay. So here's why I'm bringing this up. In this example, the ARV, or after repair value, is $165,000. If you're smart, you might come to this or watch this 5 freaking times to get this concept down. Then you won't call Derek or Dominic saying, I've got a house, but I don't know if it's a good deal. Shouldn't you be calling them if you already know the numbers up front? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Or I'm not going to say I'm a bad teacher because I'm not, or you just didn't pay attention. More importantly, there's a lot to learn. Okay? So ARV is 165, the equity in the property is 55,000, monthly rent 342 times 12, 4,011. Your initial investment is $15,000. There's 3 different calculations that we're not going to focus on right now, but there's ROI, NOI, cap rates, and IRR. NOI, what else did I say? ROI, cap rates, and IRR. Those are all formulas for you to determine what's your return, because there's different factors on owning real estate as assets. Most of the time we only hear about cap rates and ROI. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
And most of you don't even know what, not most of you, you guys do. You're not as familiar or calculating it when you're doing it. So here's this example. This is the ROI. So if I invest $15,000 and I cash flow $4,111, my cash on cash return is 27.4%. Is that typical? No. Is it typical for me? Yeah, but I've spent a lot of money remodeling houses. Can you guys learn to do this too? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, does that make sense? So the first class that I teach, at the end of the class, I share, there's 2 questions anytime you bring us an opportunity. What is it worth and what can I get it for? If you haven't heard that before, I'd write that down. What is it worth and what can I get it for? I don't care that it's a 4-bedroom brick on a corner lot next to the church with a studio apartment. No, what do I want to know? What is it worth and what can I get it for? Because then I can determine, okay, how does this property make sense for me to buy it? Okay, holding example, passive investor. So I'm going to consider a passive investor as someone active that still goes to the real estate meetings and they still have a full-time career, but they're not like in it all the way. They delegate to a property manager. Is there anything wrong with that? Not at all. Okay, a lot of people have property managers. So in this example, we're going to take just $100 off the top for property management fee. It decreases the monthly net. Times 12 is $2,911. Divided by 15,000 is 19.4%. Is that still a good ROI? Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people are crappy property managers. Okay, there's too lax. They're not strict. They don't vet them up front well enough. Lots of different factors. That was me for the first 3 years. Okay, they ran me wild. But have I still bought properties? Yeah. It's the biggest factor which increased my assets, buying more assets. Okay, here's most people who don't go to real estate meetings or have studied, and they just have 2 or 3 or 4 and they don't know any better. They have a 25% vacancy rate annually, or when it's vacant, they are screwed. And when I say that is it takes them too long to have the tenants move out, too long to fix it up, and it takes them too long to fill it. Does that make sense? You guys agree those are all concerns that you would have owning assets, rentals? We're not even focusing on flips. We're just talking about like a slow growth way. So if you take 25% of the rent off, minus the property management fee, you still rent for $29.92 a month. Woo! Okay, but here's my but. There's more, as Bill Bronchek says. But there's more. I forgot. I haven't done that. But there's more. All right. Only 3 people laughed because only you 3 went to Bill Bronchek, huh? Yeah, and there's more. All right. So 352 times 12, or sorry, 352 divided by 15 is 2.3%. Okay. Here's why I still like this. The key for rentals is having good property management. You could have 3, 4, or 5 rentals, and after you get those, maybe even focus on 1 year on how being an amazing property manager, and that will help you earn more money on your capital. Or what it's going to do is it's going to confirm, I do not want to rent these out myself, and I'm going to let someone else take it. Is there anything wrong with that? Not at all. Okay? Cool. Part 2, forcing appreciation. Oh, this is an awesome house.
Matt,
Yeah.
hey, you said 25% vacancy rate. What would you say your typical turnover is? I understand it's different on every apartment. What's your typical turnover?
For me,
Yeah.
5 days.
Okay.
What would be an average for just a regular Joe investor, would you say?
5 days. Average or regular?
Just regular.
Let's determine what's regular.
Let's say someone who has 1 rental, that's the first rental.
A month. Two months is like you're being lazy or you're overwhelmed. Yes.
Can I ask what you do in those 5 days? Cleaning carpets? I mean, on what days? Or what? How do you have it so
No.
it's set 5 days?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
But wait, I didn't answer. Here's 3 tips. Ready? Number 1, you make sure you know if they're going to renew, move out, or go month to month 30 days in advance. I learned this from Jeffrey Taylor. Did anyone go to Jeffrey Taylor? Okay, I learned this 7 years ago. It's awesome. All it did is reinforce. Number 2, once you've determined out of those 3 things they're going to do, you have action items for each one. So if they're moving out, you know ahead of time. Do you agree?
Yes.
If they're renewing, you know ahead of time, right? If they're going month to month, they're going out. So you have to have an action item with each one. Let's just only focus on this if they move out. If they move out, would you have already looked at the property during that 30 days to re-rent it? Yes.
You mean as far as physically inspecting it?
Yes. We go and look at the properties like immediately. And then we start marketing the property immediately. Not 2 weeks before, not a month before, like immediately. Then if we know the tenant's moving out end of September, end of August like this, right now we have 4 renewals. 2 renewed, 2 are moving out. The 2 that are moving out have not been remodeled since we purchased them. So I bought them both on seller financing. Okay? So I haven't done my Matt Atkinson, tighten them up. I bought them. They had tenants living in them. I'm letting the tenants still live in them. As soon as they move out, what am I going to do? Get my guys in there for a week. Bam. And we're gonna market it to be ready mid-month. Are there some people that have to move out mid-month? Absolutely. People from out of state, people from different areas, from Logan to Salt Lake, from Provo to Salt Lake, wherever it is. So you just need to be proactive with that. With that being said, third comment, I'm going to start utilizing lease options more. You get a down payment, gives them the option to buy it. They're responsible to fix it up. 10% of people actually exercise lease options. If they exercise the lease option, am I going to be sad? No, let's buy a different asset. Is that sick? Get $5,000 up front. I totally underutilize lease options. Actually, most people, I don't know anyone in Utah that just does. I know one person in Utah does lease options. He's a doctor. Makes like 40 grand a year on option fees. And he's not sad if they exercise it. He just buys another house. That's cool, huh? You get taxed different as an option fee too. Consult your CPA. Don't want to say if it depends. Okay, ready? So did I answer your question?
Yeah, I have tons more questions I would want to ask you about.
I know you do. I know you do. Okay, so bringing this up, talk about forcing appreciation, right? What is the no-brainer top 1 and 2 things I did here? Everyone write down no-brainer top 1 and top 2 things I did here. So put number 1, number 2. No-brainer. Top number 1, top number 2. Okay, you guys write it down? Derek, you write it down too? Do hablo en español?
Sí.
Me neither. All right, okay. If you wrote down number 1, I trashed out and cleaned up. Raise your hand. Number 1. Holy cow, that was not everyone's number 1. Wow. Number 2 is I painted the cabinets. Is that number 2 or number 2?
That was my number one.
No, my number one.
That was your number 1. If I didn't name your number 1 or number 2, raise your hand.
Oh.
Okay, so at least I covered one of them. Is that correct? Okay, cool. The reason why I'm bringing this up, here's a couple other things that are not as obvious. Right here, we extended a cabinet to elongate it. Okay? We shortened this cabinet to put in a microwave. Make sense? Over here, we put beadboard on this side of the cabinet because we made it longer. Obviously, we put new flooring in, left the sink in the location. Even though it's not super desirable, we left it. It was less expensive to change the plumbing. Put in new stainless steel stuff, new paint, new lights, and went on our merry way. We call this the dead cat house. There was a cat in the freezer.
I had one of those.
A freezer?
No, somebody had been torturing them in this place. My son hauled out 3 of them.
That's sad. Maybe they thought they were Ted Williams cats. Does anyone know who Ted Williams is, the baseball player? Really? No one got that joke? Wow. No sports fans, huh?
Football
All right.
and basketball fans do.
So you're not really an athlete, are you? All right, okay, so
So, right.
is there a lot of stuff?
Did you put a new kitchen door or out to the backyard?
Probably, yeah. We also got rid of the barbecue.
Oh.
Okay?
That was my number 1, by the way.
Good, good. You got rid of the barbecue. The point, yeah, light fixtures. The point, is there a lot?
Yeah.
When I first started, I would have demoed the whole kitchen when I first started, because I didn't know any better. I would have put all brand new stuff in. This cost me $2,000 versus all new cabinets cost me probably $4,000. So how much did I save by learning?
Did you flip? Or
$2,000. I flipped it. If I would use this as a rental, I would have put new flooring in, got out all the trash still. I would not have painted the cabinets. I would not have extended it. I would not have put granite in. I would put laminate. I still would not have shortened that cabinet. But how good would that look just still clean with tan walls? Good enough for rental?
Rent ready, yeah.
Yeah, rent ready for sure. I would have left the cat in the fridge. Yes.
Would you, if this was a rental, you said you would have redid the floor, would that be a vinyl floor you would
Yeah, I would have
redid?
put vinyl floor down. This was laminate.
Okay.
Great question.
Do you always stage your homes?
We stage the ones that are harder to sell. So most of the time we budget staging. Okay, forced appreciation. Hold on. Who wants to learn how to do this? Raise your hand. No, I'm being serious. Only half of you? Okay, good. Cool story with this. We bought this property last year. This is sad, really sad. The sellers lived in it like this. There was feces everywhere and 2 women living in it. One was over 70 and one was disabled in her late 40s. They had very little help. Really sad. The health department totally could have shut down the house. It was not sanitary. Then we fixed it up and made it awesome.
Are you going to talk about the NOI and cap rate IRR?
Not today.
Okay.
Okay, asset cost. What is it about it that you want to know?
I don't know what NOI and IRR
The definition.
is, so I can look it up.
Oh, Google. Great suggestion. Okay, good. Okay, forcing appreciation. Asset cost 100,000, improvements 15,000, forced appreciation 165. Double value time. Do we agree that values will double at least once in 30 years conservatively? Yes. Even for Derek with his white hair. Final values 330,000 and the mortgage is paid off. Is that a good asset?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody, how young are you?
23.
Is anyone younger than 23 in here? How old are you, Eric?
19.
19. How'd you hear about this?
I went to that, what was it?
Slurry last
Cool.
Wednesday
Good.
or whatever.
Good.
With Matt Oviatt.
Cool. Matt Oviatt. I like Matt Oviatt. Okay. So, why I'm bringing this up. Ready, Eric, the 19-year-old? I didn't even know what this was when I was, till like maybe a year ago when I did this presentation. Okay, if my investment's $15,000, remember the example, the third investor who makes no cash flow and his ROI is 2.3%? That's a lot of people. But check this out. If they put $15,000 down and they took all the cash flow to improve the property and didn't live off the cash flow, but in 30 years they sold the asset for $330,000, their ROI is 2,200%. Is that amazing? If I was like in a churchy mood, I'd say, let's say amen, but we're in Utah County. Okay, the point why I'm bringing that up.
Amen.
Yeah,
Do
there
you
we
agree?
go.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah, right?
Amen.
Yeah, last UVRE, I like baptized myself. Were you there? Oh yeah. I'm like doing different stuff these days, just for reactions. Literally, I got water and like, holy cow, I didn't know I did that. It was like more of a Baptist baptism. I wasn't fully immersed. Hand was to the square. All right. So why I'm bringing this up? This doesn't take into consideration account time of value, money, or taxes, because none of us know what our tax liability will be in the future. Let's assume it's going to be up. Is that a fair assumption? We just don't know in the future. Okay? So, did I just show you how to take 15,000 into more than 200,000?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Return 330. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I showed you how.
Right.
Okay. So, could you go home and take this away? Concept, should you really study it? Yeah, this is like sick. I don't teach you this in UVU's MBA program or BYU's. No, they'll teach you NOI and cap rates and IRRs. I'm being serious. I have clients that's what they're studying. We're like, we don't talk about this stuff. So, let's look at the last 30 years. I like picking gas. I graduated from high school 20 years ago. I went to my high school graduation. We talked about when we complained when gas was over $1. Gas has gone as high as almost $4, right? 3 or 4 years ago. So is stuff going to get more expensive? Absolutely. So I'd rather own more assets now as I'm younger. Bless you. Do we all agree that stuff's getting more expensive?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yes.
life's expensive. All right, financing. So here's some key components. Normally, a hard money lender is going to charge you 4 points, 12% interest. We write this down to update this to 3 and 12. It's less points now because there's more novice people in lending hard money. 8 years ago, it's 4 points, 4 and 5 points all the time, and 15 to 18%. The highest I've seen on an extension's 36%. Woo, it's awesome. Here's the point. Know what you're signing before you do and get your terms in writing. Okay? A 90-day loan, normally if I'm doing a rate and term refi of hard money for a buy and hold, we do 90-day loans because if it takes you more than 90 days to remodel it, it's too big of a project. Sometimes we'll do a 4-month loan. Okay? There's an investor that's not here right now. I helped him with a triplex. You know who I'm talking about? Please write him down to come. He's into his triplex $48,000 and his original budget was $30,000. Got it? And you know what? He said, I already know how to remodel, I'll do it on my own. Okay, $18,000 more than what you budgeted. The point why I'm bringing this up is because we knew it was a triplex, we got him a longer loan. Didn't cost him anymore. We just want to get the right type of loan up front. Every lender wants different stuff. Most lenders are personal people like me who do it for a profession or passively. And the investors they can do a 6-month loan. Thanks for letting me know. They don't want a 4-month, it's a 6-month, it's a triplex. There's extra units, makes sense, all these moving parts. So you need to know up front. Number 2, have I given one golden nugget yet? Have I said golden nugget number 1? Okay, golden nugget number 1. Determine your plan up front to make sure you convey it correctly on the right loan. It's so important. Okay, determine your plan up front and convey it correctly to everyone up front. Financing. So this gives you an example of the bus. By raise of hands, who's already going to the bus tours registered? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So this gives an example of the schedule. If I were you guys, I'd take a photo of this. I'm not going to give it to you.
Most people don't know the scheduling of that.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Like, this should be golden nugget number 2.
No, there's too many golden nuggets. I'm saying this one today.
Is this dust then? Gold dust?
Hey, it's like light. It's like light gray hair. Okay,
Love it.
now does this work on every house? No, but it'll give you a general flow. Is that good? General flow. Week 1, demo, rough electrical, plumbing, exterior cleanup. Dominic and Derek, what are we going tomorrow to go look at? The demo, and we're confirming rough electrical, rough plumbing, and the cabinet guy. So am I following this?
Yes.
We're going tomorrow. Week 2, the layout configuration, sheetrock, texture, and windows. So next week will be week 2. The windows are already ordered. Just giving you an example. We're confirming the layout. They're going to sheetrock. They're going to frame, insulate, sheetrock, texture, get ready for paint. Does that make sense? Week 3, paint, flooring, tile, finish, carpentry, and cabinets. How long do cabinets take? At least 2 weeks, unless you're buying them stock from Home Depot. Week 4, finish electrical, finish plumbing, carpet, final cleanup. Now, is this realistic? Absolutely. Could it take a little longer? Absolutely. Should it take someone, the father's son, they said the last one took him 6 months on.
Yeah.
Took him 6 months on one project. Father, son, doing it all together. Now, is that bad? Yeah, it took him 6 months. They are going on the bus because I said they'll cut their time at least in 2 months. So 2 months of hard money for them, or opportunity cost, is worth it, plus more, because they can save them 2 months.
They make money on that one? Is that their first one?
Yeah, they made some. 6 months, that's just a long time. It's their only project, too. You know what I'm doing. I could watch people do it. Hey, can you do that? Okay? The point why I'm bringing this up is, what does this have to do with 15,000 and 200? Dominic?
By having this time line in place here, you're going to save money based on knowing what you're doing. There's going to be tons of money that you'll be able to save.
Okay? It's actually a process. Is that fair? Having a process down? What else does it do? Everything with real estate investing, in my opinion, is all systems. From how to take a lead in, how to call a lead, how to follow up with them. Let's take it fast forward. You got it under contract, now what? Do your due diligence, who to vet, who to get contractors over, who to find out who your buyers are, your hard money lenders. Take a step farther, you funded on it. What contractors are actually going to show up? What's your schedule? All the bids in writing. 4 months later, holy crap, I'm way over budget. It's now December. It's cold. The market's dry. There's all these factors. Rental, same thing. It's just managing assets, managing your time. We're all managing, right? We all manage our time. But for you guys, because you're here and committed to show up, I wanted to give a lot of info. So here's what's cool with this. This house was on a bus tour 2 years ago. Where's the kitchen? You guys see the kitchen?
It's been moved.
Yeah, it's right there. It's gone.
No, it's the bedroom.
Now it's a bedroom. Right? Is that some planning? Yeah, most people don't know. Let's move the kitchen from the back of the house. Where do we put it? To the front of the house. It's a lot of experience, a lot of planning. It's awesome. This investor that brought us this house is like, man, this is a Matt Atkinson special. I'm like, what's that? Like some house that no one else will buy. I'm like, okay, why? Oh, it's just really bad. Okay, what's the address? What is it value? Here's the value. Okay, what's the price? Holy, whoa, what's wrong with it? He tells me the price. I'm like, what's wrong with it? It's like, it's really bad. Do you have a video? What do you say? No, of course not. Do you have a video? No? Okay, if it's really this low, let's write an offer. I'd rather look at it once we hear back from the bank on a short sale negotiation. Or you go drive and look at it and send me a video. So what I do, wrote the offer, submitted it to the bank as a short sale, and then what I have him do. He drove to the property and took a video. He got super pissed at me, but he's very grateful because he's like, now I know how to video properties. And I'm able to move them quicker. Is that a good skill?
Was that just a bird dog or?
No, he's a realtor.
Oh,
So he's the realtor representing the short sale. Okay, so was that a lot of work? Yeah, moving from the kitchen to the back of the house to the front of the house, changing the configuration is a lot. This gives you examples. There's tons of different ways to remodel. Quick comment. Did anyone go to UV RIA when Clayton Wolf spoke? One person? Okay, so he spoke maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And he spoke. He sells properties in
Indianapolis?
Indianapolis. Did he send you a house ever?
No, he never did.
We write that down so you follow up with him.
Yeah.
So why I'm bringing it up is he showed this before and after photo of an exterior of a house, and I was like, holy crap, dude! I never would have thought of that. He like demoed this patio and built this gable and demoed this other patio and painted the whole house. He's like Barbie blue colors, but actually look freaking awesome. And I'm like, wow, I would have never ever thought of that. So what's cool is we were looking at another house that had a weird configuration. It used to be a duplex, and it has 2 front doors, but it's not a duplex. And I was like, after I walked the property with Derek and Dominic, and we had it under contract, I needed to get a lower price just based on how weird it was. But I showed them, I'm like, look, guys, we could do this, and we could take the siding off and cover it up and use the front door over here. And they're like, holy cow, how'd you think of that? I'm like, I learned that from this guy who spoke at UV RIA, and he just showed us one photo of a flip in Indianapolis. There's tons to learn. And it was awesome because I'm like, oh yeah, we could totally make it look good. The point, there's tons of things to learn, right? And it's just taking one at a time. Bing, bing, bing. You're not going to get rich quick. It's just bing, bing, bing. Eric, you're the smartest one here because you're the youngest. You have an awesome opportunity to learn. So quick example with this. This is dated and functional, right? Do people use the restroom there? Yeah. What does this do? Nothing fancy. We just updated it. Does that make sense? Sometimes you don't need to totally pimp it out like the Four Seasons Hotel. Just even using brand new stuff, builder grade, is way better than chic 70s. You guys agree? Definitely looks like an old hotel off the strip for me in Las Vegas. That's where I met Jason. Okay. All right, financing. Here's why I'm having you guys write this down too. What's the system here? It's actually how to go through the remodeling process. You guys might be like, well, I'm not getting a loan. Well, you should know who your buyers are so they know you understand the process. Newer investors will call, dude, why are they asking me for this? I'm like, hey, inexperienced, I gave you the option to learn it, or you can ask your lender. Well, I didn't want to work with you because you're $400 too much. Well, $400 too much. Go ask them and then come back. The point why I'm bringing this up is there's 3 ways to work with me. You guys want to write this down? This is so easy. So easy. So easy. Number 1, let me do your mortgage financing. Then I'll pick up the phone when you call. So I have a mortgage question. I always lead with that. Now, don't call me every day, okay? But think about this. I have a mortgage question. I'm thinking about doing this. Number 2, you're already here coming to these classes. Invest with me for more than this. Does that make sense? Hi. These guys will help talk to you how you can work with us more. Number 3, bring us opportunities to buy. Is that easy? Our plumber, so funny. Our plumber in the last 30 days, he went to Bill Broncheck 2 months ago. He went to Bill Broncheck 2 months ago with us. And he's like, is this Bill Broncheck guy legit? I'm like, yeah, dude, I worked with him 2 years ago. It was $12,000 to work with him for the year. For me, that's really worth it because when I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I don't get stuck on a lot of stuff. Does that make sense? He knows a lot more than me. I said, you don't need to work with him for a year. Just if you want to learn about wholesaling, is $1,000 for his wholesaling stuff. I'm like, actually listen to it and go to the Sloria every month and you'll be in a better position. So the first 3 months, he's asked me, I have these questions. I'm like, how's it going listening to your information? I haven't done it. Well, why? I just haven't had time. Dude, I'm going to call him Bob. Bob, how long are you in your truck? At least 1 to 2 hours every day. What are you doing? I'm talking on the phone, shooting the breeze. Why don't you listen to Bill Broncheck for half the time? So a month later, he's on fire. He's like, holy cow, there's all these things I don't know what that means. He wants to wholesale. He's like, I'm driving by properties all the time. So what did he do? He's been calling. He put one under contract. He's like, the price is too high. So this is cool. This is 2 weeks ago. I got a verbal from someone. It was 170. I said, okay, we'll put it under contract. He's like, well, the price is too high. I'm like, how do you know that? It's like, I don't know. I just think it's too high. I'm like, let's put it under contract and then we'll run comps. Is that easy? You guys write that down? Have I done gold nugget number 2 yet?
That's it.
Okay, gold nugget number 2. Write an offer. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say yes? Right? Is that the worst thing that can happen is they actually say yes? So he's like, I wrote an offer. And they said yes. Let's give a round of applause for Bob. Okay, he said yes. I said, awesome. It's like, what do I do now? I'm like, go listen to Bill Broncheck. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, dude, you spend $1,000, go listen to what's next. Is that fair? He has the tool. He's a plumber. I gave him an example. I'm like, Bob, what is the most important tool as a plumber? A wrench. Okay, cool. You've got a wrench, a settling torch, crimpers for pipe, all these things. You just don't even know to open up the bag. So go look and see. So he's like, okay, cool. So what does he do? He has it under contract. We pulled comps. I told him to do what? Take a video. Did he do it? He did. It's awesome. Is that easy? I said, Bob, the plumber. You know how we send you videos on all the properties that we go look at before you go look at it? How do you like it? Oh, it is so helpful. Because then I have an idea of what the property is. And sometimes if the video is so good, I don't even have to go look at the job, but I can give you a bid. Is that good feedback for us? Yeah, what are we doing? Giving feedback that we're doing it so well that he doesn't even have to go and give us a bid. So what I say, hey Bob, you know, we're so good, can you give us a little better pricing so you don't have to go look at the job and give us a bid? It's like, yeah, I'll give you better pricing. What did I do? Ask for a discount. Is that bad? No. What if I get $50 off and I use them twice a month? It's $100 times 12. It's $1,200. What can you do with $1,200 fun? Richard, what would you do with $1,200 for fun?
Oh, for fun.
Yeah, for fun. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's for fun. Just joking, just based on our previous conversations. I know we got to laugh. Your wife's laughing too. What would you do for fun?
Go camping.
Awesome. Would you like go to campground or would you get a cabin?
Neither.
Okay, what would you do?
It'd be out in the wilderness somewhere.
You don't have to talk to anyone but the animals?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Not my type of camping. Here's what's cool though. Is that fun? Absolutely.
Did he have the $1,200 to do it?
Correct. Is that bad to ask for a discount? No. Okay, let's keep going with Bob the plumber, then I'm going to go back to this. He now has it under contract. His due diligence is coming up. What did I say? He's like, man, can we move it? Well, have you asked for a discount? Holy cow, I can ask for a discount? Yeah. That's why I gave you the story. So what did he do? We showed them comps. He asked for a $10,000 discount. How much did he get? $2,000. Is that better than none? Better than none. Okay? The reason why I'm giving this gives you a checklist, right? Here's the type of buyers who could buy this property from Bob. Who else can buy the property from Bob? Borrowers with hard money loans. Make sense? So I'm teaching you guys how to vet who your end investor is if you're going to wholesale or flip a property or exercise a lease option or sell your rental or however you're going to liquidate it. Does that make sense? So this is for conventional financing. If you're going to refi, you need at least a 680 FICO score. 6 months of PITI is a good rule of thumb. Doesn't mean you have to have it. Just don't be using your last 10 grand in the bank to buy a property. Okay? Debt to income ratio, 45%. When you buy property, this is important too. This is not, this is my opinion. Remember, I'm not an attorney. When I'm going to buy a rental and I'm getting a mortgage, I buy it in my personal name. I then change vesting to an LLC or trust after. If I'm buying a property as a flip or seller financing, I'm holding title in an LLC or trust, or you can do personal. I just don't like to be personally holding title that way. Asset protection, worry about later. By raise of hands, who has one rental property? Raise your hands high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. I just gave you guys awesome tips with that. Let's keep going. Remember, I'm going to come back to Bob. Comps. Oh. Super important. So I'm using these older comps. Can you guys see this okay? If you can't, that's okay. You can sit in the front row next time.
Or bring glasses. No.
Wait, I'm just offering you my glasses. We're not going on a date. All right.
They'll work.
You look good,
no,
though.
that's worse.
Oh, you insulted me.
I'm sorry.
Hey, how could you said it better?
I'm sorry.
How could you said it better?
They didn't work for me.
Ooh, I like that. Here's why I'm bringing this up. Is how we convey information make a difference?
Yes.
Is that fair? That's gold nugget number 3. How we convey information makes a difference. So what did Bob do? He showed the comps. He's like, hey, seller, I'm sorry you're selling this property. It's distressed because your family has to move out of move into an old folks home. But here's what we came up with. There's 6 houses on busy streets, 7th West, 7500 South, 7200 West, and 80th South. Based on our opinion and the condition of the property, we could offer you 160. Oh gosh, 160? It's insulting. We'll go up to 168. Okay. Now he calls me on Saturday, Matt, they can only do 168. Do I call him back? No, I text him back. Bob, I got your voicemail. Let me look at the numbers and get back to you on Monday. Is that fair? Was it that important? No, he just wants to talk. Just being honest. So, today, 168, we're great. We'll work on it. Give us till Thursday. Is that fair? So, here's what you look. Comps, 90-day window. I don't want a CMA. This is the last bonus. I don't want CMAs. CMAs can be manipulated by the realtors to show what they want to show. I want the raw data so I can analyze it myself. So important. CMAs. I don't want a CMA because they can manipulate it for however they want it to show. I want the raw data so I can analyze it myself. If you're overwhelmed by analyzing the raw data, that's a good problem. Figure out how to do it. Could take you a couple years. For those of you guys that work with us in a little higher capacity as investors, we send you a deal a week. I don't care if you're not buying in Davis County, analyze the data. You'll get so much better. The reason I got good at investing is we would look at houses. We didn't look at data first because we weren't that smart. We would just go look at houses, then we'd look at comps after. Before I go look at a house, I have comps before I go look at it because I even want to see if I want to look at it. Before that, I get comps and a video from the investor. If I have comps in the video, then what? Then I go look at it. My time's super valuable. It's the only thing we have in life that we can't put a price on. Okay? Number 2, 1 mile radius. I like a 1 mile radius. Duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes are different. Okay? You got to go larger. But single family residencies, you're going a 1 mile radius. If you're buying next to Manti or Ephraim or Gunnison or some other little town that I've never heard of, you might want to go to a 10 mile radius. I'm only talking to 2 people in here, so don't be offended because there's more than one. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that, but just larger search. 10 to 15% GLA, gross living area. I'm not going to compare a comp in 1985 to 1954. There should be a bunch of comps. If the house was built in 1954, I'd go to the 30s until the 70s. Make sense? Then I might do split level or rambler or bungalow or different stuff like that. And size. This is huge. This is called the brief version. You guys want to write that down? I don't want the full version. I don't want the medium version. I want the brief version. Because then I can analyze it quickly, efficiently. I can take one sheet of paper and go look at a house and drive the comps, right? And make notes. I've done this a bunch of times. I come up with stuff, how to make it better and more efficient. And I'm all about better and more efficient. Okay? Who has questions on this? Yes?
And do you need to go to a realtor to get those comps, or is it available?
You could pay, a realtor could help you get the comps or an appraiser. So if someone's bringing you a deal, are you a realtor? If someone's bringing you a deal, let me clarify. Sorry, I gotta go to a funeral.
Sorry to hear.
Yes. The owner of our mortgage company passed away on Friday. Thanks. So that's why it's kind of not a lot of people are here. And I'm glad I'm teaching this, so it makes me not think about it. Okay, thanks. Funerals tonight, yes. All right. You don't need to edit this part. It's good to be authentic, right? Okay. Okay, here's 3 things I would do before I look at comps to have an idea, and don't go burn out realtors. 1, just utilize Zillow just for a ballpark. Number 2,
Utilize what, sir?
Zillow.
Oh, got it.
Starts with a Z.
Got it.
You're welcome. Okay, utilize Zillow. How's my sense of humor? Is it good tonight?
It's great.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah.
On point.
On point. I like that one. That's not even a sense of humor. Hold on, Roger. Okay, Zillow. Number 2, look at tax data. Give you a ballpark. A lot of sellers are going to say, hey, my tax data says this. This is how I came up with the value. A lot of other sellers are going to say, Zillow, I came up with this. That's why I came up with the value. That's why I'm sharing that with you. Make sense? Number 3, you can look at active houses online. Everyone can. Once they're under contract, you can't. Solds, you can't. But actives will give you a pulse on what's going on. It's so user-friendly, you could make the criteria search the same way as a realtor. Square footage, mileage, area. Now, I think there's 2 realtors, Roger and Cody. Is that right? Anyone else a realtor? If someone said, I pulled tax data, checked out Zillow, and called houses on the not on the MLS, but online, and here's my ARV I'm coming up with, and I want to buy it for this, could you check comps? Would you guys be more open to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, because why?
Did a deal quick.
They did a deal and they actually looked themselves. Make sense? Yes, Roger.
Okay, Zillow doesn't have a relationship with the MLS. So
Correct?
now if you go to Zip, Zip,
Are you self-promoting?
Yeah.
I like it. Keep going.
They got that.
Awesome. Zip. Zippity doo dah zippity day.
Yeah, it's called ziprealty.com.
Ziprealty.com.
Actually, if you go to my
Whoa,
website,
don't go that much.
There's a link to it, okay? And then also, what happens if your 1 mile radius, you don't have enough comps? Then you have to
Go farther out or farther back.
figure out, yeah.
Or farther back. So here's the point why I'm sharing this with you. Am I giving you guys solutions on how to determine values? Yeah, more
Yes.
than what you knew before. Way better than 10 years ago. You know what I did 10 years ago? 12 years ago. I called for sale by owner signs on the Sunday paper. Was the internet as big, awesome as it is now? No. You know what else I did? I paid for comps from appraisers. $25 each time to pull comps. Okay? Why I'm bringing that up, am I giving you guys a lot of meat, a lot of content, a lot of stuff to consider? With sharing, let me go back to okay, the class is how to turn 15,000 into 200,000. Did I show you how to do that with buy and holds? Slow and steady, but you'll get there. Did I show you how to do it with the flip? Yep, showed you how to break it down, remodeling, how to look up comps, values, other things like that. Now can I show more? At another time. Why I'm bringing this up. How to work with us from here. Here's the set. You guys will chat with Dominic or Derek 4 times for about 15 minutes. In between each time, you either come to the class like you did, or you're going to watch this online. I feel that after a month, so after you've seen me for about 3 hours online or with these guys, you're either going to work with us or you're not. Now, you might not work with us right now, and that's okay. It could be 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, whatever. But the point, or you can keep coming back to get more data, which we welcome. The reason why I'm bringing this up is I don't want to go wider with more people. I want to go deeper. Does that make sense? I want to work with less people and help them become more affluent versus trying to help everyone do their first transaction. Because my patience is not there to try to help someone do their first transaction. I've done this, I've coached people since 2009. What's really cool is helping them on their 13th property, their 16th property. They're like, we're stuck. We're like, yeah, this is fun now. You're stuck on a good problem. Great problem. It's also helped to fund first, second, third, fifth, different stuff like that. But why I'm sharing this with you, there's 2 ways to work with us. There's 3. I help you with your mortgages, okay? You need access to me a lot more frequently. Number 2, work with us to complement with your mortgage stuff, because you might only get one mortgage every other year. You're like, hey, we want access to Matt, what he's doing and other things like that, because we got a lot of other stuff going on. Or you might say, we don't want to work with you as a mortgage broker because our brother-in-law is, but we want to work with you as an investor, so I'm giving you solutions. And then number 3 is be where I'm at. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go to all these seminars I'm flying to out of state. I'm going to one next month. It's 2 days, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. It's about options. Most of you guys, not stock options, okay? Real estate options. It's going to be super overwhelming. I'm not inviting Derek and Dominic to go because they got to figure out some more basic stuff. But what's cool with that is that's what I go to get a lot more retooling. I go to at least 4 to 6 classes every year out of state. So normally I invest about $6,000 just to go to little workshops. I like going for 2 days. After 3, my brain's kind of mush. But I like getting data dump, try to pick up 3 topics that I can implement immediately, and then it's really good. And it's what's more fun is when the speakers start recognizing me. That's good. You know why? I can call them and they'll call me back. They're not going to recognize me the first or second time. Maybe the second time, because I'm the only dude wearing cargo shorts with spiky hair in the cold or the hot. But why I'm sharing that with you, you have an awesome opportunity. In 2 weeks, we have this bus tour. I only do 3 paid workshops a year like this. It's on a Saturday. It's awesome bus tour. We got like 15 spots left. For those of you guys who've already registered, that's great. These guys are going to follow up with you tomorrow to see if you want to bring your spouse or some other partner for only $200. Or if someone's already done it, they're going to give you a different incentive that's way more valuable than that, because I love when people learn together. So if you have a realtor that you love, or your brother, or your sister, or I don't care who it is, but for those of you guys that have already done it, they'll give you something else that's more valuable than just having your partner for 6 hours. But this is the last thing I'm going to do besides a little workshop like this. You guys can come back. But these guys will chat, find out, here's your 3 goals. Want to write this down real quick? Number 1, you need to pick 3 things as investors you want to get better at each year. Can't say flips and then wholesales and then buy and holds. That's way too much. If you say flips, great. What are the 3 things about flips? If you say wholesales, great. What are the 3 things about wholesales? If you say buy and holds, great. What are the 3 things about buy and holds? The reason why is there's no way to be an expert on each one of those 3 things in just 12 months. My feeling was after I owned 100 rentals and I'd done 100 flips, in my own validation, I'm like, I'm an expert. But I'm at like 78 and 82. And I haven't foreclosed on any of them. So I'd definitely say I feel like I'm an expert in those 2. Lending, I've done over 1,000 mortgages. I'm an expert on mortgages. Why I'm bringing this up is my goal to work with you is to figure out those 3 things for 12 months to complement your career. Don't quit your day job to be an investor. I'm not your guy, because I've never done that. Does that make sense? What's my full-time career? Mortgages. I literally put mortgages first. Sometimes I block off Derek and Dominic, and Derek's like, oh my gosh, I gotta talk to you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it happens. And then when I say, hey guys, they already know what this means, and they come over immediately. I'm shooting them. So I got like this perfect vision. And then we talk for about 8 to 15 minutes, go over all their stuff, and then what do I say? See ya. But I get their data. Make sense? So, if those are the types of ways you want to build up your portfolio to complement what you're doing, these guys can chat with you in the next day or 2. My wife should be here in 10 minutes. So I'd like to do open Q&A until she shows up. If it's super private, then we can maybe chat tomorrow, or actually I'll be at the funeral tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. But I think people have awesome questions that other people don't think about, so I'd rather just go boom, boom, boom. And just one question at a time based on who they have. Yes, Eric.
Where can I find the tax data?
Which county?
Let's go with Davis.
Davis County. Google it.
Just Google Davis County tax. data.
Yep. Then your next step. Let's see. Who's up there in Davis County that's a title company that I like?
Aspen?
That I like.
I've never worked with them. I've just heard the name, and they're in Davis.
That's okay. That I like. When one of these 2 guys ask them, not Aspen, ask them to get you a title company that's familiar with Davis County if you can't do it first. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Another question?
So
David.
on your rental properties you have, do you ever put, I mean, is it always carpet in the main living area? Or do you ever put, I mean, are there situations where you put like vinyl, or if you put like some sort of hard floor in the main living area, what type of flooring do you put in there?
So I think you asked me 3 questions.
Yeah.
Let me
I
clarify
probably-
what they are.
Okay.
Okay. The question is basically, what type of flooring do I put in the main living area?
Yeah.
Is that right?
With some follow-up questions on those, like a why.
Okay, so for rentals, how about write this down? More you'll cover in the bus tour, but for rentals, I love vinyl and carpet. Is that easy? Carpet you clean, easy to vacuum, piece it out. Vinyl, I don't want any water to leak through grout. I don't want to reseal it. Laminate buckles. Ask me why, because I've had laminate buckle. On flips, I prefer carpet and laminate.
So it depends on each house whether you're gonna put.
Just like each client you talk to about their taxes. No, I'm being serious.
Okay.
But I just gave you my rule of thumb.
Based on rentals versus fixing.
Yeah, so here's an example. This house we're going to tomorrow, that will probably be a house on the bus tour. It has awesome hardwood, like freaking amazing. And I walked in, I'm like, oh crap, this is really nice. Oh, this is nice. Huh, Dominic?
Yeah.
I was like, crap, this is nice.
Dilemma.
Because I know it costs me more to refinish, and then what's in the kitchen. You gotta have a nicer floor or comparable than in the family room. Do you guys agree? It's on the main floor.
In the kitchen, it has to be nicer.
Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put vinyl in the kitchen and refinish the hardwood in the living room and on the main floor. If you do, you got some interesting styles. So if I refinish the hardwood, then what do I gotta do in the kitchen?
Tile.
Tile or hardwood. But putting hardwood on top is even more. So I gotta buy the hardwood, gotta install it, gotta sand it, and refinish it. Does that make sense? So tile is gonna cost me $5, $7 to $8 a foot for everything. Tiles, $3 a foot. No, it's called tile. Tile's $2, the labor is $4, so that's $6. The underlayment's $1, that's $7. $7 to $8. So if I have 300 feet, how much is that? $2,100. $2,000, quick. If I do laminate for 300 feet, $3 a foot, how much is it? It's $900. How much money did I save? $1,200. I'm going camping with Richard and BFE. Big farms everywhere, okay? We're gonna have fun. No one will talk to me because I won't have cell phone service. Does that make sense? Let's take it a step further. Hold on.
Okay.
If I do vinyl in this house, I'm just going to probably put laminate everywhere, $3 a foot, carpet the rest. Then I'm only budgeting when I walk in the house $2 a foot. I want things systematic. Make sense? Simple. Before he has a follow-up, who has another question? Yes?
A follow-up question?
No.
Uh,
A new one. I'm basically trying to take it away from him.
who's Bill Bronchek?
He's an attorney. You guys could Google. He's really smart. It was funny. At Slaria on Wednesday, there's Luke Watkins. Does anyone know who Luke Watkins is? So Luke Watkins is the acquisitions guy for Andy McFarland, who wholesales a bunch of houses. I'm friends with him. We're not like buddies, but if I called him, he'd call me back. I'm more friends with Luke. Why are you smirking, Cody?
Because it's funny
What's funny?
that you say that.
Oh. Luke actually is an awesome thing. Luke said, Matt, I want to take you to a jazz game. It was like 2 years ago. I'm like, really? Wow, that's kind of cool. I'm kind of a snob, but I have season tickets to the jazz. Where are your seats? Are they upper bowl or lower bowl? They're like, I don't remember. I said, let's go in my seats. Use yours for someone else. Thank you for offering me. I'll treat you to Fleming's. Has anyone been to Fleming's?
Yeah.
It's the bomb. Fleming's is across the street from the Jazz. So here's awesome. We go to Fleming's. Guess who ends up paying for Fleming's? Me. Whose Jazz tickets did we use? Mine. What kind of date is that? Right? I call it a guy date. Two guys hanging out. Okay?
Sounds like
So
Luke's got it down.
yeah. So why I'm bringing this up? Luke, Randall, and I were talking about, hey, who do you think's helped you the most? And we're like out of state. We're like Bill Bronchek. So Randall helped teach Bill. Like Bill taught Randall about 10 to 15 years ago, or helped him enhance. I worked with Bill 2 years ago. Luke did some one-on-one coaching with him 6 years ago. So pretty smart guy. Okay, what other questions before I can answer David Lovelace's last question?
Last.
Yeah. Tiffany, go ahead. You raised your hair. What was your question?
I don't have a question.
Oh man, I was just trying to get you to react.
Oh.
All right. Any other questions? Yes.
How much equity do you need in a property to be able to count rental income?
How much equity do you need in a property to count rental income?
As part of your DTI.
How much equity do you need in a rental property to count rental income against your DTI?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I'm understanding you correctly.
Yeah.
Did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
0.
Okay.
Are you talking about the 25% equity for exiting properties 2 years ago?
Is that maybe?
Well, 2 years ago, you had to have 25% equity. They since then have discontinued that. As long as you have a lease agreement offsetting the rents, you can use it immediately.
Can you use 100% or is it only 40?
Always going to be 75% of rents because of vacancies. Because they know people, there's just vacancies, management, other things like that.
Does that,
Hold on, I didn't call on you. David, go ahead.
I'll get shut down, go ahead.
Do you use a specific type of vinyl?
The one that my supplier provides.
Okay.
Good. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, never mind, yeah.
Do you think I care what type of vinyl it is?
No.
Okay.
Do I care what the cost is and it gets installed in time?
Yes.
Do I ask the vinyl guy, hey, what's the most durable, good-looking vinyl in a rental? Then he puts it in. I used to care more about that stuff, but I care less. I don't care as much.
Okay.
Sounds better. Yes, Roger, then Dominic.
How much cash flow should you expect on a rental?
As much as possible?
Is there any kind of number that you shoot for?
Good. That's a different question, right? The question was, how much cash flow should you expect on a rental? Then what I say?
Depends.
As much as possible. I didn't give the CPA answer. Gave the Matt Atkinson answer, as much as possible. Okay, and then he said, good qualifying question. What's a good rule of thumb? I like $300 a month.
Is that net after you're budgeting repairs and vacancies, or is that?
How about just go off of that for first? $300.
Okay.
There's enough rentals you can get more right now based on still the purchase price and the cash flow. So that is not taking into consideration vacancies, maintenance, property management, things like that. If you have property management, you'll obviously have less. Oh, go ahead,
I do have
Tiffany.
a question. Well, I don't know if this is appropriate in this setting, though. You
Does
mentioned.
it have to do with real estate?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm in love with that laminate flooring. A contractor had to tuck me into it a couple of years ago. And after we put it in, I fell in love with it, and I've been putting it in all my rentals.
How many rentals do you have?
7.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway, a few months ago, a car literally drove through one of my houses.
Awesome.
Pushed the tenant's car in the living room, and he lit in the kitchen. And it took 2 layers of brick and exploded it through the house.
Okay.
After the police,
Yep.
contractors, I mean, I thought, man, this floor is ruined.
Okay.
Not a big deal. I mean, we've got to do the house. Cleaned it all up. There is not a mark on that floor.
Awesome.
So I'm like really, really impressed. But now you're saying it buckles and you're bringing up water.
Yeah, what if a tenant's kid spills a cup, goes to school, doesn't clean it up, and then it buckles?
But I thought that it was sealed pretty good. And we
The
put
laminate?
Yeah, we put the stuff underneath the, the
Vapor barrier?
Yes.
Okay.
So, do you know? I mean, okay, maybe it buckles.
How about I'm
but-
just giving you my opinion? I've never had a car go through my house to my tenants into the other house, buckle the floor, and it looks as
Have
good
you
as your
had
hair.
water damage go through the laminate
Yeah,
flooring?
that's why I told you that.
So, okay, so it is a risk. Okay.
A risk, or you could just not invest.
Well, this is true.
Okay, cool. We'll do 2 last questions. So Dominic had one, then if we have anyone else, we have to end with David Lovelace. Go, Dominic.
I was just asking as far as the lease agreement itself, does that need to be in place for X amount of time, or could it be immediately once you have your tenants sign that lease agreement?
To qualify for
Yeah.
traditional
In
financing,
order to use that income.
you have to have it executed before you. It depends. If you're moving out of your property and to buy a bigger property, you have to have a lease executed and a deposit at least paid.
Okay. Got it.
Now, if you're getting a VA loan or an FHA loan, it's different. I'm talking about if you're getting a conventional loan. You should consult your local lender. Is that good? Okay, cool. Last question. Anyone else have any more questions? My wife just walked by. David Lovelace, we'll end with you. Go.
Yeah, sure. I have another one. What about if you?
Hold on. If you asked me a question and it was $1,500 question, what would you ask me? That's the type of question you should ask.
I don't have one of those questions right now.
Well, just make one. Just pick one then.
I guess my question is on your turnover, 5 days turnover. If they're going to go month to month, are you increasing their rent for that?
Oh,
Paying a,
that's a $150 question. I'll answer that in 3 minutes. We go month to month. They have to put it in writing 30 days before. We already have a set fee to increase the rent, so it's not like we're like, oh, by the way, you're going month to month. It's already disclosed. It's normally between $100 to $150 a month.
so are you incentivizing them to sign a year contract?
No, we're penalizing them to go month to month,
Okay.
or making enough to have that flexibility. The most of the people that are going month to month are buying a new house, so they only need a 90-day to a 6-month lease. You know what I do instead? We re-up them for a 90-day or a 6-month lease. I want people to be committed, even as renters, because they're future homeowners. Derek, last question. You're good?
Yeah.
You have fun?
Yeah.
Dominic?
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Do you have a last question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as the month to month, typically you would be giving them an incentive ahead of time, right? When you're communicating with them, hey, are you gonna renew your lease that's coming up, or are you gonna go month to month? If you go month to month, this is what you're expecting to pay?
So let me clarify. Your question is, when we're asking them to renew, they have 3 options. Renew, move out, or go month to month. Is that correct?
Right.
We would give them some incentive if they renewed in the property, not a financial incentive. We might paint an accent wall, put a ceiling fan in, change out a furnace, something that's going to do a little increased value and make it better, but we're not discounting money.
There may be like cleaning carpets or putting
Cleaning
in a
carpets.
window
Something you'd be
cooler.
doing anyway.
Something. Yeah.
Amen. Last comment, go.
Do you always raise rent at the beginning of each new lease?
Yeah, we do. We're-
Inflation,
in
like
the last
3%?
in the last 3 years, yeah. So 3 years ago, we sent a letter to everyone saying, thank you for being tenants of so-and-so. This is in January. We're raising everyone's rents 3%. Now, if it was $24, 3% of the rent was $24, we didn't jump it up to 25. We literally left it at 24. So we're like, hey, we're doing cost of living, it's going up. So the last 3 years, we've raised everyone's rent 3%.
And that's every year.
The last 3 years we have.
Okay.
I care more about vacancies than increasing rents. But as long as rents keep going, which we're analyzing 60 days before, we're raising rents. And I'd rather make the rent more manageable for the existing tenant versus raising it to market rent and having them move out, because each time they move out still costs me $3,000. So that $3,000, even though it's $100 a month, it's 30 months, which is like 2.5 years, break even. I'd rather just have them stay. Awesome. My wife just gave me the look from the I love you look. Not the wait, come here, Edie.
Come on in.
Wait, yeah, well, this is my wife, Edie. This is my wife, Edie. Say hi, everyone. Okay, the show's I'm married. So, thank you very much for coming. We look forward to having these guys following up with you today and the next day. And I hope you guys have a good Monday. Thank you very much.
You're